Okay, hi there. So at this moment, we're going to talk about a different concept related to fraction, which is the different types of fractions. Now, if you're wondering if how many types of fractions do we really have, if it is 2 or 3, then this is the best time to answer that question. So to begin with, we only have 2 types of fractions. Again, we only have 2 types of fractions, and those are the proper and improper fractions. So let's deal first with the proper fractions. Proper fractions are the types of fractions wherein the numerator is less than the denominator, or the value of the numerator is smaller than the value of the denominator. So let's say, for example, we have 1/2. 1 is less than 2, so this one is a proper fraction. Another example, we can have 3/7. 3 is less than 7, so this one is another proper fraction. 4/5. 4 is less than 5. 2/5. 2 is less than 5, and many more. So these are just some of the examples of proper fractions. Okay, this time we're gonna talk about the other type of fraction, which is the improper fraction. Now this time, the value of the numerator here is either equal or greater than the value of the denominator. Like for example, 3/2. 3 is greater than 2, or the denominator. We can also have 4/4. 4 is equal to 4. We can also have 5/3. 5 is greater than 3. And we can also have 7/2. 7 is greater than 2. So these are just some of the examples of improper fractions. This kind of fractions give birth to another way or another form of rewriting improper fractions. And we call it now as mixed numbers. So to understand further how to rewrite improper fraction into mixed number, we'll have 7/2. So this one is an improper fraction. Let's find out how to rewrite this one into mixed number that we are talking about a while ago. So to understand this, look at 7, which is our numerator, and 2 as our denominator. The parts that we are taking or considering is greater than the parts that the whole is comprised or composed of. So therefore, logically speaking, it will really exceed 1 whole, because our whole is just composed of 2 equal parts. Now to understand this further, let's have an illustration for this one. So let's say this is, or these are the 7 parts that we are taking. Now, based from our denominator, the whole is composed of 2 parts. So I can take 2 parts here and combine it as 1 whole. I can take this another 2 parts, and that is another whole, and another 2 equal parts for another 1 whole. So I have now 3 wholes. So I will write here 3 wholes. However, I was still left with 1 part here on the side. This 1 part here. Now how are we going to represent this one as a fraction? Going back to our description of the whole, it is divided into 2 equal parts. So in order for us to form 1 whole, we need 2 parts, but we only have 1 part here. So meaning what we only have is just 1 out of 2, which is comprising the whole. So therefore, this one is equivalent to 1/2. And again, we have 3 wholes and a remaining of 1/2. And the way I write this is a mixture of a whole number and a fraction. And this is an example of a mixed number, which is still equal to our improper fraction 7/2. So our next goal now is to find out how to change 7/2 into 3 and 1/2 without using illustrations. Okay, so let's go back to our idea that we need to find out how many 2's are there out of the 7 parts that we have, because our whole is divided into 2 equal parts, or to form one whole we need 2 parts. So therefore we need to find out how many 2 parts can we form out of 7. And when you hear that term, how many 2's are there out of 7, we can do 2 things. It's either we repeatedly subtract 2 from 7, or in short, that is also the same as division. So let's just use division for this one instead. So dividing 7 by 2, we will have 3 here. 3 times 2 is 6, and subtracting this 2, we will have 1 as our remainder. Now look at the numbers that are involved in our solution. Do you see any familiar numbers with the one that we have in our mixed number to the numbers here in our solution? Actually, yes, they can be found here in our solution. 3 is the whole number, 1 is the numerator here, and 2 is our denominator. So meaning to say, in order for us to change improper to mixed number, we just do division, and whatever your quotient is, that will tell you the whole number, and the remainder will tell you the numerator, and the divisor will be still your denominator. Okay, so let's have this another example. 15 over 4. What is its equivalent form in mixed number? So we will divide 15 divided by 4. So there are actually 3, and 3 times 4 is 12, and the remainder of 15 and 12 is 3. So meaning to say, we can form 3 wholes, and we still have a remaining of 3 out of 4. And this one now is the mixed number. For our last example, let's have 16 over 3. That is equal to 1. So dividing 16 by 3, there are actually 5. 5 times 3 is 15, and the remainder between these two is 1, or the difference between these two is 1. So therefore we have 5 wholes and a remainder of 1 over 3. So this one now is our mixed number. For the last agenda of this video, we're going to learn how to change mixed number into improper fraction. So a while ago, we had this example, 7/2 is equal to 3 and 1/2. This time, we're going to find out how 3 and 1/2 is equal to 7/2. So again, we're going to start with illustration. So imagine this is our whole, 3 wholes, and we have a remainder of 1/2. Now, how can we count all the parts if they are cut unequally? So first thing that we need to sure is the parts should be equal, or the parts must be equal with each other so that we can count them as one. Now here, to get this kind of size, so we need to cut the whole into two equal parts. So they are now of the same sizes. This is equal to 1/2, this is equal to 1/2, this is equal to 1/2, also 1/2, 1/2, and 1/2. Now, how many parts do we have in all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is our numerator. And how many parts was the whole, or where the wholes was divided into? So, basically, the wholes are divided into two equal parts. That's why the denominator is equal to 2. Now, how are we going to change this one without this illustration again? Is it possible for us to do that? Yes, it is. So how are we going to do that? So looking at our fraction 1/2, given the numerator 1, we are sure that we already have one part. But another thing that we need to consider is how many parts are there in this whole, which is 3. Now, connecting it with our denominator, which is 2, meaning to say that the whole is divided into 2 parts, or there are 2 parts in each whole, so we need to multiply this 2. We need to multiply this to find out how many are there, or how many parts are there in all in our 3 wholes. So here we have 3 times 2, which is 6, and that will give us 7. So look, we got the same as our numerator, which is 7. So in short, to change mixed number into improper fractions, so 3 and 1/2 is equal to 3 times 2 to find out the total number of parts that we have in our whole, plus the remainder, which is this in our numerator. So we have a remaining of 1 part, so 3 times 2 is 6, plus another 1, that is 7, out of the denominator tells us the whole was divided into 2 equal parts out of 2, or 7/2. Or in short, we are just simply copying the denominator. Okay, so let us do that again to our previous example, 3 and 3/4. So is it really equal to 15 over 4? So let's use the same procedure. 3 times 4. So we have here 12 parts, plus another 3 parts here, plus 3, that is 15 over 4. So therefore, this is the improper fraction that is equal to this mixed number. And for the last one, let us have 5 and 1/3. So let's find out if it is really equal to 16 over 3, which is our previous example. So multiplying this to 5 times 3 is 15, plus the remainder, or the remaining part, which is 1. So 15 plus 1 is 16. And copying the same denominator, because our whole is divided into the same number of parts, which is 3. So therefore, this procedure really works. Okay, so that will be all for this tutorial. So I hope you learned how to change improper into mixed, and mixed number into improper fraction. And always remember that we only have 2 types of fractions, which are the proper and the improper fraction. Okay, thank you for watching.